But I didn't do it.
You didn't do it, eh? You were at work all night.
What's wrong, Tim? You know me.
Yes, I know you. I knew you when you were a 15-year-old punk kid, hauled in for auto theft, too.
Nobody stole the car. There were 5 of us. We just wanted to show off a little and took a ride.
Sure. They start off wrong, they end up worse.
All right. I'm no good. I never did anything. But you can't keep me here now. Sharon's over the hospital alone, worrying. They're going to operate on Kevin any minute.
Bruno, take him out and book him.
What's wrong with you, Tim? Aren't you human? Can't you feel anything? Or have you got steel bars inside where your heart ought to be?
I don't know about heart. I just know I got a job to do, and I plan to do it.
Tim, for the love of heaven, who's talking about your job? I'm talking about your sister. Your sister and our kid, her kid.
You're all wrong, Johnny. I'm talking about my job, nothing else. The book doesn't say don't arrest your sister's husband. It says you break the law, you go to jail, you get punished.
The law. Is that all you think about, the law and your job?
Yes, it is. Because I respect my job. It takes self-respect to be a man, Johnny. Maybe you're going to find that out now. All right, I've had it. Take him out and book him.
Thanks, Doctor. And be sure that Mrs. Ferrari understands that we're doing everything possible. Goodbye.
How's Ferrari's kid?
Well, the doctor says it's still nip and tuck. And now he's worried about the mother. She hasn't left the hospital even to change clothes. Says with Johnny not there, why go home?
It's real rough, no fooling.
Yeah, and it's going to be rougher if anything happens to that boy while the dad's in jail.
I know. It's up to us to locate the guy he said he borrowed the money from. What's his name, if any?
If any, the name's Bill Kessler. You and Adams got on the phone, called the police departments in every town north of here where they have a tool and die plant, foundries.
Well, that's sort of like needle hunting, isn't it, Bart?
We found needles before.
Now, I know, but do you think we can locate this guy just on the loose description that Ferrari gave us?
Well, we'll never know until you two guys get started.
I get the point.
Well, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm going over to the hospital to talk to Mrs. Ferrari. After that, I'll be all over town, but I'll phone in.
All right. Get me, Adams.
What am I going to do? I just can't stand it. What can I do, Mr. Matthews?
Well, one thing you can do is to take care of yourself. Go home and rest a while. If the boy's condition changes, they'll notify you.
I can't. I've got to be here. Somebody's got to be here who's his own flesh and blood.
Well, the best way that I can help you and Johnny right now is to get out and work. Please don't worry, Mrs. Ferrari. My next stop was the Federal Tool and Die Plant. I needed proof that Johnny had been at work when the crime was committed. I was a little surprised to meet Captain Boylan coming out.
Bart, what are you doing here?
Same thing you are, looking for facts. Any little thing that might help my client and win me a 10-course dinner.
Why don't you give up, Bart? You're going to lose anyway.
Sure?
Reasonably sure. Bart, I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to give you some information.
Well, that's a new twist.
I don't like the look of it. I've been talking to Johnny's foreman. He tells me Johnny's machine broke down the night of the robbery.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Plenty. The robbery took place at approximately the same time. Johnny was away from the plant for 25 minutes.
Does that prove anything?
He had plenty of time to get to the laundromat, hold up the woman, and get back to his job.
Thanks for the information, Tim. But maybe I can find something else that might have a bearing on the case.
If you do, let me know.
Hello, Mr. Matthews. Any news?
Johnny, why didn't didn't you tell me that your machine broke down that night and you left the plant?
Well, I didn't think it meant anything. It happens lots of times, and we go out for a cup of coffee.
But the robbery happened at just that time. Did you get coffee?
Well, no, I told you I went to see Kessler and got the money from him. He only roomed a block from the plant.
We checked on that.
If you guys could only find Kessler.
We've got to find him. He's your only chance. I've had 2 of my best men working on it all day. So far, no Kessler.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to that hospital. What am I gonna do?
I don't know, Johnny. But if I were you, I think I'd pray. Anything new, Clark?
I hate to say this, Bart, but if there is a Bill Kessler, he must have gone to Alaska or something. Between us, Adams and I must have called 61 places that never even heard of Bill Kessler. Right, will do. Oh, look, in case we want to reach you, where are you going next?
I'm going to Mrs. Pollard's laundromat.
Okay. Goodbye.
Naturally, I was scared when I saw his gun. Wouldn't you be if someone did this to you?
I'm quite sure I would be, Mrs. Pollard. And that's just the point. If you were so surprised and panicky, how can you be sure about your identification?
I was sure, not certain, mind you, until I saw him again down at the police station. Then, the minute I saw that brown sports shirt, I was certain.
Brown sport shirt. Like this brown tie I'm wearing?
Yeah, yes, same color.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Pollard. You have no idea how much help you've been.
Well, I'm glad to do anything I can,
And I may call on you again.
well, if you live anywhere around this place, why, bring in your washing. I'll give you a good price, something special.
Thank you. I may take you up on it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Exactly an hour later, Mrs. Pollard was in my office. I'm glad that you could come in so quickly, Mrs. Pollard.
They said you wanted to see me, Bart.
Yes, Tim. You know Mrs. Pollard. I wanted to ask you a question, Tim. You arrested Johnny. What color sports shirt was he wearing that day?
Oh, what sort of a question is that?
It was green, wasn't it, Tim? Green and white pattern?
Yeah, that's right, green. Why? What difference does that make?
Mrs. Pollard, what color is this shirt?
That's brown.
Thank you. And this one, the color of this shirt?
Well, that's sort of brown, too.
Now, Mrs. Pollard, this is a shirt that I bought just a few minutes ago. It's a red shirt. And the tie I'm wearing is red, dark red. And this is the shirt that John Ferrari was wearing when you identified him as the man who robbed you. Tim, what color is this shirt?
It's green.
Mrs. Pollard, answer truthfully. Are you colorblind?
Yes, Mr. Matthews, but I didn't realize.
You didn't realize? Do you know what you've done? You didn't identify a man, you identified a shirt. And you were wrong on that, too. Now, are you still sure that Johnny Ferrari is the man who helped